Welcome to Garage Talk, presented by Hooters. Me, Garage Guy, joined with Dale Tanhardt, not as freshly shaven, but looking a little bit more stubbly. And then we're also joined by a man with great facial hair, a man that has taken the time to make sure that his lip curtain looks swell for the day. It's Austin Dillon, driver of the number 3 for Richard Childress Racing. He's you're looking good, man. It's been a minute since we saw each other. How are things going? And you know, are you taking the time to nourish your body with not eating wings with forks and knives anywhere you go?
Yeah, I'm kind of a fried chicken kind of guy. I've been trying to figure out who has the best fried chicken lately. I've been eating a lot of it this winter. My wife actually, she got into it as well. So she's like, look, I'm gonna learn how to cook fried chicken. So it's been a good off season so far. And the fried chicken, what I've come up with, there's a homemade fried chicken is hard to beat. There are a couple out there, I'll swing through a Bojangles from time to time, get some fried chicken drumsticks and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm a fried chicken guy.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that. I grew up a fried chicken guy myself. But this show is brought to you by Hooters. And so
this is true.
Yeah, there's no fried chicken there, but shout out to
good.
Hooters. Yeah, if you go to Hooters right now, use promo code Garage Guys, you can save $10 on any order, $30 or more. Valid at participating locations for delivery and carry out orders only. So that's a promo code.
How do you order your Hooters wings? Like I used to get them. Is it breaded naked? Is that possible?
I do naked. I'm a big naked guy. I'll walk around naked sometimes when I'm alone in my house. So there's that. But yeah, naked is the way. And then I usually will do like a mixture of like the Daytona sauce with like some just normal hot sauce. I'm from New Orleans. I like spicy food. That's
Gotcha.
just
I like the spicy garlic, like the spicy garlic naked, amazing. And I'll mix that up with Daytona. I've had Daytona wings so much. Sometimes I get a little tired of it and I'll just switch it up and alternate around the menu. Now I will say the breaded, just the original buffalo breaded wings are good. I was kind of like the first few times I was like, I don't know, man, those are like thick. They're really, really thick, but
kind of like little fried chicken.
Tasty.
I think that's, I used to frequent Hooters there for a while and then I got married and haven't been back in a minute, but I think I used to get it breaded. And is there a wet like too? Is that an option? Breaded and wet or naked and wet?
Yeah. You can, I think you can get certain sauces with the breaded that are I hadn't experimented with the breaded side as much as
these are secret menu
classic,
items.
The naked wings.
I think Austin knows secret menu items.
Speaking of secret menu items, for a limited time only, you can always pair promo code Garage Guys up with these limited time only items: Texas style quesadillas, the Diablo burger. Chase, we got to try that. Daytona Beach BLT and Sloppy Joe sliders. 4 new menu items for a limited time only, all applicable with promo code Garage Guys.
Have some more Sloppy Joes. Yeah,
that one surprised me. That one surprised me.
I love it. Well, we discussed that, and now it's time to talk with Austin. So we've been trying to make Garage Talk happen with you now for quite some time. We've seen you at the tracks. We got to talk. Obviously, become real good buddies with Paul Swan. Is he still in Mexico, by the way?
He's an animal. He's back. His voice hasn't recovered, but
of course.
Yeah, I love how he just powers through his party, and continues to social media post even when he can't talk. And I had a good conversation with him last night. We were just talking about I was actually at Denny Hamlin's last night. Played in his basketball league. I got called in to sub, dropped 27, 10, and 7, very close to a trip dub.
Wow. And you're a sub? You almost drop a trip dub, and you're not. What's up with that? You're
first round
one
sub,
of them guys?
First rounders only. I can only play for the first rounders in that league. So, but I have won a championship there. Paul has 2 in hoop group, but we're literally an hour and 20 minutes from there to drive. So, kind of back down, and now I'm just a sub and like to come in, pinch hit, call the bullpen, and perform. So that was fun. And then we were just talking about that. And what else did we talk about? I think that was pretty much it. Basketball and his trip to Mexico. He said it was successful, and now he's got to come back and take care of Bella. So Nothing
That's
like
right.
coming back tired and hungover from a vacation. You're supposed to be rejuvenated, but he's fine. He's probably in the gym right now.
I'm sure he'll be
Oh.
posting his like weekly Peloton Instagram story. That dude loves the fucking Peloton, man. Like I swear, every day almost.
He's a peddler, that's for sure.
So
Are
I
you
didn't know.
a Peloton guy?
I'm not much of a Peloton guy. I did it there for a minute, but I like to play sports for working out. So like basketball, great. Pickleball is my new thing. Been playing a lot of pickleball. Actually going to probably start up a league. We got 2 courts taped out upstairs at the race shop in the big meeting hall. So we've been playing a little bit of pickleball there. Quite a bit of calorie burn, actually. I've got a Whoop band, and about an hour and a half of pickleball, you're burning up there around 1,000 calories if you're playing hard.
I've
Dude,
never played
pickleball.
pickleball.
I haven't either, but I heard it's like a huge emerging sport right now, and it looks super fun. We got to try it sometime.
You got to go play it. Actually, I want to do a charity event with pickleball, and they have a place in Daytona called Picktona, and it's like 14 courts. Half of them are inside, half of them are outside, and it's just this electric factory. There's a place when you play pickleball, there's this area called the kitchen that you can't go into. So when you go to Picktona to play, they have a place you can eat, and it's called the kitchen. So kind of cool place to go and hang out while you're in Daytona.
Do they have people that actually serve pickles?
I think they probably do serve pickles at the kitchen, pickle sandwich maybe, but you got to be careful. If you're not ready, the older crowd will whoop up on you in some pickleball.
How old is old? What's the older crowd?
What's the peak physical age of pickleball players?
I went to Saudi Daisy, which is where my wife's from, for Thanksgiving, and looking for something to do. So I went to the park, started playing pickleball with some ladies. Felt good about myself, beat up on them pretty good. I don't think I lost a game. And they told me, hey, you need to go to this convention center. They start playing at 10 o'clock over there. I'm like, all right, cool. My mom's really into it. So I called mom. I was like, hey, I'm going to play pickleball at this place. She's like, all right, it'll be cool. I walk in, and I'm definitely the youngest person there by probably 20, 30 years maybe. So, I mean, 60 looked average age, I would say. And there's probably a 70. And I'm like, oh, man, this is bad. I feel bad for doing this. So
you're like
stomped.
A mall walker.
Yeah, I got stomped. First 2 games, though. Like, I kept going up the net to try and crush them. These guys were just putting them in the corners, just using my strength to get against me. I didn't know what hit me. I was pretty upset, not gonna lie. I mean, I ended up going probably 500 for games, but yeah, be careful if you feel like don't judge your opponent in pickleball for sure.
I'm looking up pictures. I just had to see some imagery on this. So I'm imagining these like 60-year-olds play it. So it's like ping pong at the tennis court kind of.
Yep, with a wiffle ball.
With a wiffle ball.
You have to hit it underhanded to serve, and it has to bounce on each side. Then you can like play it hard and attack. But that kitchen area like keeps you from going up to the net and slamming it. So like even if you're super athletic and aggressive, like it's more about finesse and where you place the ball. And I've learned a lot about it, but I'm having fun playing it.
Dude,
I gotta try this.
I'm watching one of these videos too. That paddle is like insane. It's such an interesting design. So that line right there, you said, what did you say that area was?
That's the kitchen.
Okay, what can you do with that? Can you not walk up there?
You can only go in the kitchen if the ball bounces in the kitchen. So if you step in, or if you hit a ball and follow through and step into the kitchen, that's the other team's point as well. So you can't be over aggressive and attack the net. Like, it makes you kind of play back, and it's a fun game, man. You guys have to try it. There's a new league called the PPA, and all these people are buying into it. Actually, Hamlin told me he bought into it, and LeBron has a team. I think what's the dude that owns Mavericks? Cuban. There's a bunch of them that are buying these pickleball franchises. So I think it's gonna be the next thing.
Pro sports pickleball.
You heard it here. Check out Pickleball PPA. Yeah. They're on the up and up.
We'll have to put a pickleball channel in our Discord if there's going to be a pro league. Probably could be able to bet on it at some point, huh? Maybe
more than likely.
I'd say they are probably already betting on pickleball.
Yeah.
I think I've seen that actually. I feel like I remember seeing a listing for it potentially. We'll have to just go drop the 401k on Denny Hamlin's Denny Hamlin's guys at some point.
Yeah. Said
Absolutely.
yeah.
Disc golf is what I was going to tell you about. So I figured you would have been like, the pickleball is a surprise, but I know a disc golf is another one that's on the up and up right now. That's that they're actually televising. So, I mean, this is basically just the makings of ESPN 8, the Ocho, really is what's happening.
The Ocho is on the way.
Mm-hmm.
The Ocho is on the way. And, talk about, I actually had a call, the PBR, so I manage a PBR team. And the Carolina Cowboys. That's been my other job this entire year, was managing the Carolina Cowboys professional bull riding team. Yeah, man, this is you have to check it out. Carolina Cowboys on Instagram. We had a draft this past year in March, and snake draft. So I felt really seasoned in a snake draft. We had the 7th pick. And I ended up trading around and getting this year's world champion, Dillon Swearingen, on our team. So we got 2 world champions, Dillon Swearingen, Cooper Davis, Boudreaux Campbell, Mason Taylor, some guys you guys have to check out in Carolina Cowboys. But we led the regular season all the way up to the last event and lost the number 1 seed, the bye. Ended up finishing 4th overall, I believe, 4th or 5th. And so we actually just purchased the team. My grandfather is the owner, and I'm managing it, and we're having fun with that. But we're talking about sports betting. This new PBR teams league, the franchise part of it, I'm not the franchise, but the PBR teams is a great avenue for PBR to be finally bet on, because you can do head-to-heads with your team matchup. So they're working on that, trying to get it a company approved to set the lines and figure out how the lines are going to be made. And I think it'll be on all gambling platforms. I'm pushing BetMGM, obviously.
Yeah, for sure.
I do remember seeing that, because you guys had the 3-car out there and it had the Carolina blue and you guys' logo and everything. I remember seeing that. I think, was that the beginning of this year, or?
Probably at Charlotte. We had it out front at Charlotte at the track. We had it at Darlington. I think it was at North Wilkesboro. I think it did a lap at North Wilkesboro before that big late model race. But we have our own event in Greensboro. I was trying to tie it to the Martinsville race weekend, where everybody could come to the race and go to the PBR event. But we ended up losing that date. Our PBR home event, which will be in Greensboro, North Carolina, will be the same weekend as Texas race weekend.
Wow. I gotta ask, what goes into that? Because, obviously, I think Lane Frost is the name, 8 seconds, right?
Yeah.
So my son is I'm more of the the Jordans and Vans guy. My 7-year-old is a boots guy. He's all about the dirt, 18 wheelers, and he loved 8 seconds. So he is my son is a cowboy all the way. So
I love it.
Started getting him into to that and stuff like that. So I had no idea that you owned one of those teams. I mean, really, honestly, I had some other questions, but I'm interested, and I feel like I just want to talk about it. So with you, when did you get into this, and how long has rodeo been a part of your life? What is the thing that kind of motivated you, and where do you want to take this team and the entire PBR I guess league itself?
Yeah, so I think the Western lifestyle, my grandfather obviously from a young age took my brother and I out. He had a place in Montana for a long time. We grew up going out there during the wintertime in the off season and riding horses. I could probably quote almost every John Wayne movie to you. That's all my grandfather watched.
Yeah.
So
that's how you know.
John Wayne on all my bios is my hero. I've watched, countless movies of that. So riding horseback, the Western lifestyle was something that was, built into me with my grandfather. He'd take us to PBR events when we were really young. One of his friends, Tommy Teague, owned a ton of the bulls. It was a stock contractor for the PBR. So we went at a young age, and then a guy named Randy Menard, actually, who is one team is owned by Johnny Morris, which is the Bass Pro Shops team out of Missouri. They're the Missouri Thunder. The GM for them ran the PBR at that time, and he was close to my grandfather. And the guy that came in after him, Sean Gleason, kind of came up with this entire teams format, right? Had dreamed up this idea and started reaching out to people to see if they'd be interested. Came to us with this prospect, and my grandfather and I took a look at it, and kind of didn't know what to feel about it. We felt like it looks like had great potential. Didn't know how deep we wanted to get into it, just because it's not what we do. We race. And, Sean gave us the opportunity to kind of come in and manage one of the PBR teams. So there was 2 teams owned by the PBR this year, and the rest were all sold franchises, 6 of them sold. You got guys like Johnny Morris, who owns one, Morris Media out of Nashville, great guy. Egon Durbin, they own Endeavor, which is like UFC, a bunch of different things. I mean, big name there. And then John Fisher, who owns Oakland Athletics and Ariat Boot Company. Who am I missing? I think I've got most of them. I'm missing someone. A guy out of Kansas City who started Bad Boy Mowers, bought a team. So they've got a good group of ownership. And so we came in and we're kind of the GM, the managing partner for PBR this year. The Cowboys ran it just like it was ours. Got to do the draft. That was the most adrenaline I've ever had going in and doing the draft as a GM. So our coach is Jerome Davis, who is an NFR champion. Jerome's awesome. I mean, if you look him up, he's a Cowboy everybody has a lot of respect for. And so I worked with him and kind of got prepared for the draft. And I was putting in a lot of time. Like January, this all happened this past January. We flew up in New York City, Madison Square Garden, said yes that we'd do it. We found out what our draft position was, which was going to be 7 and 8. They gave the PBR teams the last 2 picks. And I was kind of happy with that, with the wrap, the way it works. And I just started watching every UTB event, which is Unleash the Beast, which is the series they're in right now. It's the individual bull riding. Started studying up, watching these guys, and they gave us a list of people that signed up for PBR teams. It was about 250 guys. And I was constantly on Instagram, searching all these guys' names, looking at their rides, going over them with Jerome. Jerome really wanted one in particular guy. It was a guy that he kind of grew up teaching, which is Dillon Swearingen. Well, Dillon ends up winning the finals in Fort Worth. So I parked my bus while we were in Texas, kind of worked out during All-Star, was their finals in Fort Worth. So I was going back and forth between the track and the finals at Fort Worth, and meeting up with GMs, because the draft was during the week. That week, it was on Tuesday at this place called Texas Live, which is awesome. If you haven't, when you go to Fort Worth, go there. Texas Live. I think it's outside of Fort Worth. And just kind of put it bug in the guy's ear that had the 3rd pick, because I kind of knew who was going 1st and 2nd. Kind of speaking to GMs, everybody knew that there were going to be 2 Brazilians going off the board, and the first American would be Dillon, most likely. But did a little bit of research. The coach for the 3rd team wanted another guy that he felt familiar with. So I just kept putting the bug in his ear that, hey, man, we can move around on the board here. I give you 7 and 10 for 3 and 14. Or 3 and 14. And I'll give you my 3rd pick, which I had 23, and I had back-to-back pretty much in the 3rd rounds. I was going to let him move up in the 3rd. And he's like, no, I'm good. I don't want that. It needs to be these other pick numbers. And I was like, I guess we won't be able to put it together. Well, I was getting pretty nervous about it, which we had a good backup plan, who we were going to go with at 7 and 10. And my grandfather comes up to me for the draft, like zero confidence in me. Comes up and said, hey, why don't you just let Jerome make these picks? And I'm like, we're going to as a team together, but we've got a plan here. Let me just work on this.
Yeah, you play fantasy football, not him. You know, you've been
here.
You're
a GM. You're a GM. You know how this goes.
Exactly. For years now. I mean, my rating on Yahoo was like diamond. You know what I mean?
You're a Yahoo guy. I like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so one of the GMs from another team comes up and asked, I had a bunch of feelers out there to move around, and he's like, hey, we might be interested in trading with you. I'm like, okay, cool. Well, when that guy told me that, I was like, all right, I feel all right now. I feel like we're in a power position. As soon as he told me that, I felt comfortable. Well, I told the other GM what was going to happen. I was like, hey, look, the guy you want, it was an older guy. His name's JRV. He was 2nd in that this past year's individual season, but I didn't think anybody was going to draft him because of his age at that point. And their coach was older and wanted that experience on their team. I said, hey, look, I know that he's going to be there at 7. If you take Dillon at 3, because I didn't want Dillon going to 4, because I knew if he went to 4, I was not going to get him. I was going to miss out. I said, if you take Dillon at 3, when it gets to me at 7, I'll take JRV. And when it wraps around, you pick who you want. You'll have 2 picks before, and you'll get the guy that you originally wanted at 3 at 7 with an earlier second rounder. He was going to have 7 and 10 pretty much. And that's when they said no. Well, I called it all how it happened. So, well, if you don't pick JRV at 3, you got to take Dillon. And then if it comes around, let's talk. Well, the first 2 picks went off the board exactly like we predicted. And then 3 comes along and they pick Dillon on, and Drum's like, dang, we're going to miss out on him. And that was, like I said, it's his guys, like his protege. And I was like, no, that's the best thing that could have happened. If their guy falls to us, like, we've got a shot at this. We're good now. If he would have went to 4, we had no shot. So the next guy goes off the board that we probably thought, Dalton Castle. Then it went to 5. A younger guy kind of went. And then I was, if we weren't going to get the trade done, I was looking for, Luciano, which went to 6 at Arizona at 7. There was a new kid that killed it at the World Finals, younger, Cody Jesus. So I took him because I went over to him. I said, hey, JRV fell to 7, just like I said he would. You guys want to make this trade? And they're like, well, we don't know who you're going to get at 10. I'm like, well, it's going to be better than whoever you're going to get at 14. So I don't know why you're worried about it. But I walked back over. I'm like, all right, I can't, make our first pick on an older Cowboy at this point. I want to start young. So we went with Cody Jesus at 7. The next team over was Oklahoma City. They had 8 and 9. They picked a North Carolina Cowboy, who I was looking at possibly taking, Eli Bassfinder. And I was like, all right, well, missed out there a little bit on Eli. And then 9, they took they took Eli second. They took Derek Kolbaba right there. So 2 guys back to back. But JRV falls again to 10. So now I'm like, shoot, like I got him again at 10, who they wanted originally at 3. So I go over there. I'm like, hey, look, take it or leave it right now. I got both your guys. I'm good to keep them, but I want 14 and 3 now. And they're like, and I'll give you, I was going to give them originally 23. I ended up giving them 26.
Master negotiating.
Yeah. So you got the trade worked out?
Yeah, we worked it out. So it was 3 and 14 for 7 and 10. And they went from 30 to 26. And I went from 26 to 30. We just swapped thirds pretty much. And I moved up 3 and 14. So, and I got one of the guys that I made friends with in New York, Mason Taylor, who's like boys with a bunch of the guys on the team. So it kind of worked all out there. But that was the biggest adrenaline rush last year for me, was just doing all that work in the field.
You got to draft a professional sports team, essentially. Yep. That's fucking wild. Like,
it was.
I want to go to one of these. Like, that sounds electric. Like, I mean, you got on your cowboy hat, you're in there chilling. Like, I can only imagine what this room looked like. I mean, it's like it's intimidation station. You know what I mean? Like, you go in there, that's a tough thing, dude. And so for you to do that, obviously, like, how many guys are on a team?
We get 7 locked in roster spots, and then you have practice squad members that fill out till 12. But your main guys are 7 of them, and then you kind of fill out the roster at the back with practice guys.
We're betting on Bulls this year, dude. I can't wait. You
can look up the article on the draft. It was on Wrangler's website. Just look up PBR teams draft, and the first thing it'll say something about trade. And we made the first inaugural trade of the PBR teams season, which was cool. But this is our first year, and next year we start again. And I had to work on negotiating contracts with these guys. First time of any kind of contract like that for a PBR rider. I mean, they've always shown up, paid an entry fee, and took home what they won. Now now they're getting contracts, and it's fun, man. It's fun to be a part of, learning a lot in a short period of time. It's a lot of work. It's not. Yeah, I thought it was going to be a little less.
Businessman. I like it.
Balancing that with a full NASCAR season has got to be kind of tough. And I did want to touch. This was a good season for you. Some decent changes at RCR, obviously. New crew chief, new teammate with Kyle Busch coming up. I do want to know, your thoughts on your 2022 season. The win at Daytona was absolutely electric, especially because I may have picked you to win. It was a great moment. I wish I could have stayed, but the rain kind of messed it
I
up.
remember.
But you had a lot of other good runs. Obviously, Fontana was awesome. Talladega, another 2 second place finishes at those tracks, made the playoffs. Just give me an assessment of your 2022 season amongst everything you got going on with the reality show, the bull riding team. I mean,
I forgot about
Dillon's
that.
a busy
too.
man.
Yeah, the
We
reality show.
stayed busy.
Yeah.
The phone bill was high with the PBR team. I'd say that probably took the most time in the end of it all, trying to make trades and move around. But yeah, racing, I mean, I felt like our season was it was one of my better seasons for sure. Had some high points, some very high points, and then we took a little lull there in the middle of the season. And obviously to win Daytona was huge. I felt like we had probably 5 or 6 opportunities to win this year, and we were able to get one of those done, obviously. But very close. I mean, one that burned me was the 600. I mean, we came out of nowhere there, shot out like a cannon, and that was one where I wish I could have if I could redo turns 3 and 4, I feel like I'd be a 2-time Coke 600 winner.
How
we
would
were in a great position.
I forgot about that. That was insane. That was probably, I think, the most electric race of the season. We had just recapped our favorite races. How would you do that corner differently? Like, because you guys were 4 wide, you come off of turn 4, I mean, like a rocket, like you said. It doesn't, like, from my view, didn't look like anything was your fault there. Just an unlucky circumstance. So what would you do different in that situation, looking back at the tape?
Well, I had the freshest tires and probably the even amount of clean air. So the biggest thing for me, I was trying to get the lead off of 4, obviously, to cross the white flag leader. I would have been just a little more patient on my entry. What happens is in turns 3 and 4 at Charlotte, the place is rough. I mean, it's like riding around, banging your head, getting a concussion every lap there, because under caution's worse than at speed. It's just, it's built. Did you know that Charlotte's built on a landfill?
I didn't know it was built on a landfill, but I will say that I wrecked within 3 seconds of trying Charlotte on iRacing at his house. So I
yeah, it's the same thing. Yeah,
it's totally the same.
Hey, it's a tough place, man. Turn 3 is rough. So I mean, turn 3 has these rumble strips right at the bottom of the track, and I drove in harder than I had most of the day because I felt like, when you get clean air and fresh tires, you can do a lot with it. You kind of feel like Superman, obviously, and drove in there, and my car hit those little chatter bumps. A lot of people call them chatter bumps. I hit those, and I just lost the car for about a car length and a half, where I had to save it. And if I could have crossed those without getting on the left rear stop, I think we hit the stops. What happened? That we would have come off there with so much momentum. There wouldn't have been a shot for anybody to be 3 wide on exit. I would have probably been side by side with Larson if I backed up the corner, which would have been fine, because he would have probably sucked down as much as he could on my door into turn 1, but that wouldn't have been too big of a deal. I don't know. I mean, it's hard to Monday morning quarterback. Could have turned me. Anything could have happened at that point. I mean, we sent it. It didn't work out. But I just felt like, man, that was one that I wish I could have clutched. I feel like when I'm in the position to win, I've done a pretty good job in my career of kind of finishing off races when I get those times. So that was one that burned me. I remember going to the lake that night. My mom and dad's just thinking about it over and over, but because I mean, it was a great opportunity. But it was cool to be in that position again, to win that one. And then Martinsville was another good one. William Byron just had us. That was the only other car that day that had anything for us was William, the first Martinsville. And I chose to restart behind him. I was going to just shove him up the track, ended up spinning the shit out of the tires and screwing that one up, which, I mean, William, he was better that whole run. But we had a caution late to try and make it happen. So that was a stop
difference, though. Like I really feel like that race was all about a pit stop, like a pit strategy. And like I wanted to ask you about Martinsville. So like I don't think anybody expected to see you running where you were running at that race. Like what do you attribute a lot of that to? I mean, like obviously, like you got a rockin' pit crew. And then so to come out at a track like Martinsville, to be able to do what you did in that car when everyone else, like all the big players from Martinsville that were always doing great every year, they seemed to really be on the struggle bus that night. Like, what was that like, being able to run that and being able to put the 24 and the 3 where they were at for the first time since like the 90s, man?
Yeah, that was cool. I think we just hit it. I mean, and that was something that's great about this new car is, it's a different guy every week. It's pretty hard to predict it. I mean, you got your guys that are going to show up and run good at certain places. Obviously, Martinsville has been actually a pretty good track for me over the years, especially in long runs. I've always qualified like crap there. So if I can usually start up front, it just helps me save my stuff or start further forward, which we didn't start great. I think we qualified terrible in that race, and we just kept passing cars. We were the only car that could pass.
It was so hard to pass that night. It was crazy.
Yeah. And I was like, I don't know what you guys are talking about. I thought it was a great race. We drove up through everybody.
Yeah,
but,
right. It was
went back
fantastic.
the second time around, and we were not as good. Just the track changes, and it was like that. Like whatever everybody fought the first race, the second race I struggled with. We couldn't pass. So yeah, we just had a good balance that night, and we're able to drive up through there, and ended up having something to work with. But and then Fontana was so like out of the blue, like kind of terrorist half the race. Pit crew was crushing it that day. That was a big help for that. And then we started making our car better, got track position, and it all kind of timed out. And, made a big run at Larson there the last lap or two off the bottom. But yeah, I mean, we had some opportunities this year. We were able to get one done. Homestead this year, we were good. That was another good one for us at the end of the year. So finished pretty strong. Some top tens there late that were good. So, and I'm excited about, hate that I'm losing Justin. He was great for me, and strong crew chief. And now I get to start over new with Keith Rodden, but we're keeping most of our guys. We got a new engineer, so I'm excited about that. Our first simulator test was just last week, and it went really well.
What do you? Obviously, Kyle Busch has been a huge story point this year, going over with you guys, new teammate. It's kind of crazy looking at all this, because you've kind of been, you were the young guy, the younger guy. You had like Ryan Newman as your teammate, as like the veteran. Over the past few years, you've kind of been the veteran at RCR, which is so weird for me to think about, because I always think about you as one of the young guns. But now that changes. Now you got Kyle Busch as the more veteran voice, right? What can Austin Dillon learn from Kyle Busch in 2023 and moving forward? And what has everything been like prepping for 2023 with, as we like to call them, KFB?
Yeah, it's been great already. We went to COTA together and ran 2 8-hour races. Well, it was really 1 8-hour race. The first race, we had all kinds of stuff go wrong with the car, rebuilt it, and we're able to get a win together with Sheldon Creed, myself, and Kyle's. We call it the Fun Run car. We go do it every year with the WRL, the World Racing League, and that was cool to go do that. But just spend some time with Kyle and how he processes things and his thought processes. From being at Joe Gibbs for so long, and how they do things, how he does things at even Kyle Busch Motorsports. So it's been good to pick his brain, and he's a 2-time champion. I think what I can learn from him is a little bit of everything. Try and figure out what makes him tick, what he likes, and I think driving style wise, I think we'll be more similar than most of the teammates I've worked with in the past. I mean, just talking to him, the things that he likes, I think we'll be able to probably talk about the same characteristics of a car and want similar things. But we'll see. I mean, it's early, and I think the big part of that is having Randall back again for RCR, crew chief Tyler. So we've got a lot of the same core there, and Justin staying on as well to help all of us connect together with Randall and Keith and myself and Kyle. And so far so good. And I think my GM hat from the PBR team definitely helped with Kyle when we made the call to bring him over to RCR. So I'm glad to have.
You put it.
I forgot about
put
that.
the name in the hat.
Yeah, I remember calling.
Yeah, he like helped recruit him. I remember seeing that.
I love that.
Called my grandfather and was like, "Hey, what do you think about Kyle Busch coming over to drive?" And he was like, "You think he'd want to come?" I'm like, heck yeah, man. He's just about winning races, and same thing you are. And y'all want the same thing, to win and run for championship. And he was like, all right, well, let me think about it. About 20 minutes later, he's like, hey, see if you can put in a call to Kyle and see what he'd think. Like, all right. So I call him up, like, "Hey, Kyle, what are you doing?" He's like, "Nothing. I said, "Can you call me?" He's like, "Yeah, call him." And I was like, "Hey, what do you think about coming to run at RCR?" And it was like the exact same thing. My grandfather, "You think that your grandfather would want me to come over there?" I'm like, "Yeah, like it'd be great. You guys want the same thing. Let's go try and win races and put RCR on top, man. And we've got good stuff right now, and we need you." And it's like, "All right, well, thanks for thinking of me. I got a couple things I'm working on, but let's stay in touch." I'm like, "All right, cool." And then things just progressed from there. I kind of pulled myself out of it after, he texted me. He's like, "Hey, who do I need to talk to?" I was like, "You talk to RC and Tori G, which is the RCR president." And they took it from there, man. Got it started, got the ball rolling, and now I got a teammate who's a 2-time champion.
I love that.
Love that. Hey, that's
Yeah.
what a GM does, man. You recruit and then you delegate. Recruit, delegate. That's Austin Dillon. Primetime GM right there.
Yeah.
What is that picture?
So this is, before we get to Wheelman Wagers, I just want to say Austin knows a lot about Garage Guys NFTs. We put them up, we give them the paw for extra energy in the in the pit box. This is Kyle Scott. This is Kyle Busch with Travis Scott's hair.
Nice.
So yeah, this was created a long time ago.
Right now.
I mean, dude, the value on this one is right at $250,000. So I mean,
$250,000?
yeah, it's $250,000 right now. In depending on what cryptocurrency you use. But yeah, I wanted to just say, as a welcoming gift to Kyle, I'm gonna mail this to you so that you can give this to him. I just want to see that interaction. Get Paul to film it. I just want you to, without saying anything, just hand this to Kyle and just walk away.
No context at all. He's just gonna be like, "What the fuck is this?"
All right,
just give him
send it over, and I'll make that happen.
All right, the Garage Guys NFT, Kyle Scott, 1 of 1. All right, very word. Don't put it in your computer. All right, so Austin, it's time. AD3, basketball guy. Not into what is it, Anthony Davis? No, not him. He's out. It's AD3 for Austin Dillon. It's time for Wheelman Wagers. Are you ready to make some bets and let everyone in the world tell you this week and see if you can go 3-0?
Yeah, let's do it. I mean, I like to put on some bets for Red MGM every now and then. I'll throw them up on my social media. I've picked 3 NFL games for you guys. Know that I sometimes I struggle because I always pick my boys. I go from the heart sometimes, but I feel good about these 3 picks that we've got.
Real quick, I have to say, this is the most prepared any driver has been for this segment, and it's now 1.5 year history. So we love this.
You win that award.
Yes.
You win that
Just
award.
know I'm going to have my money on these 3 picks. So if we lose, we lose together. If we win big together.
Ride or die. Let's go.
All right. So are we gonna let him take us off? How are we doing it? Because I feel like he's ready, dude.
I thought Austin was about to just spit him off, but we can let's take it one by one.
Let's do our normal. We'll do our normal
jam. I thought Austin was about to be like, bam, bam, bam. That's what you got. And I was like, I was about to be really impressed. But regardless, we know you could do that anyway. But let's do our normal jam and start this with Thursday night football. 49ers at the Seahawks. Spread is 3.5, and over under is 43.5. What do we got for Thursday night football?
So this one for me is a home run. Got the 49ers coming in with a strong ground game, and they got CMC. Christian is running the rock really well. He fits over there at San Francisco. Seattle just got 200 yards ran on them by the Carolina Panthers, which is my team. So I know that San Fran's going to go in there and do the same. They're going to cover the 3.5. Go with San Francisco here over Seattle.
Okay.
Love that.
Does he wear Levi's or Wranglers?
They play at Levi's Stadium, so he's probably brand aware. He's probably got pretty good brand awareness. The real question: does Olivia wear Levi's or Wranglers?
It is true. It is true. I don't know that. I'm just gonna ask you another bet. All right. So New York Giants and Washington Commanders. All right. The money line for the Giants plus 180. Commanders minus 225. The over-under set at 40, and the spread is at 4.5 in favor of the Washington Commanders. What do you got?
This one is, this is a fun one for me. Taylor Heineke, sorry. The Heineken. I got to hang out with Taylor when Christian and a bunch of the Carolina Panthers came to the All-Star race. Taylor was like the third string quarterback at that time at Carolina. Great party that we hung out with. Monster put on a party. It was when the All-Star race was at Charlotte. He hung with the boys, did everything, had a good time, and super cool guy. Came from, I think his college is something really small.
Old Dominion.
Old Dominion. There you go. Old Dominion. Like, he's just a hustler. Played in the, what was the other league that they had?
It was either
that was the
they had the XFL and they had
it wasn't the XFL.
I think it was the XFL. So he goes in there,
or the USFL. It was one of those.
USFL throws a bunch of touchdowns. I think it was XFL the one year he did it. Comes back to the league. Riverboat Ron picks him up in Washington, and they're winning games. So Taylor is going to lay it all on the line. They're tied with the Giants record. They've got the current tiebreaker, but they're going to step above that and win this game. Commanders over the Giants in Washington. They're going to cover 4.5, right?
Yep, 4.5. So -110 on MGM Sportsbook. Shout out to
last one, which Taylor Heineke was a Carolina Panther. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah,
which
he was.
Makes me sad. But Sam Darnold playing okay right now.
Sammy D looking good.
Take care of the ball.
Don't hold your breath.
We could win the South. But on that note, Carolina Panthers are at home against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Kenny Pickett, I think, sucks. He's a bust. Panthers are -2.5, and he might not even play. But Mitch Trubisky,
I think he's hurt. Yeah.
Carolina Panthers -2.5 at home. Over under is 38.5, and Panthers are -135 money line favorites. For the final Wheelman wager, what do you give us here, AD3?
Panthers. Actually, I think we took. Sorry, I got to rewind. I think we're just taking the Commanders to win money line.
Okay, that's fine. We got to lay standard. Yeah. -225.
No spread.
Yep, no spread on that one. I don't know. Right. I feel great about it, but just money line. But here's a spread game. Carolina is going to cover Carolina's going to cover at home. They're going to protect the bank. Steve Wilkes said that after their game in the post press or in the team locker room. He said, look, we know what we got to do when we get home. We protect the bank. I love that. Never heard that saying. I feel like that's worth at least 3 extra points. So they're going to cover. They're going to run the rock. Pittsburgh is a solid team, man. But like you said, Trubisky's in there. He's going to throw at least 2 picks. JC Horn, he's going to get 1.
Balling, dude.
One is probably, I might hit that. JC Horn for an interception.
Or Jeremy Chin, maybe some Jeremy Chin action.
Yeah.
CJ Henderson too.
Yep, CJ Henderson's. They're playing good, man. That defense is strong. They get after the ball, and then the run game. Foreman, Hubbard, they're running a lot. So yeah, I feel good about those 3 picks. So you got 49ers, Commanders, money line, and then Panthers to cover. So there's the 3. I might parlay those 3. True,
dude. I was right about to say the same thing. The energy and the insight. Austin Dillon knows what he's talking about. Some NFL football bets. So I appreciate that. And as a Panthers fan, I will be riding at -2.5. I love our defense. Love our run game. Remember Ryan Blaney went 1-2. Former teammate Tyler Reddick, I think, was the only guy that went 3-0 last year. Remains to be seen on 2022, but I feel good about a 3-0 for this weekend, Austin.
Thank you. That's good.
So it was your first time on Garage Talk. It was great. I feel like we've learned a lot. I feel very, very confident, probably a little more confident than when we had Ryan Blaney's picks. He's, like I said, 1-2. 2 times out of the year. But like I said, you came in this thing ready to roll. So it's going to be fun to see how it shakes out. Again, everywhere that you can follow Austin. Is it just at Austin Dillon or Austin Dillon 3?
Austin Dillon 3.
Austin Dillon 3 on all social media. You can check out at Garage Guys FS to see the betting card as well. If you forget for some reason or you didn't write it down, you should have a pencil and a piece of paper with you at all times. In 2022. So never forget that. But Austin, thanks so much for being on the show. Can't wait for 2023. Can't wait to see you run it back. One of the most electric guys on super speedways, and so close to the Talladega win. You're the Daytona Don, so I think the Talladega might be coming up. I don't know.
We got to make it happen. Talladega's been so close. I've been second and third. Haven't led a lot of laps, so we got to figure out how to get a little more speed in the old number 3 Chevy when we go to Talladega. I'm not ever worried about speed when we get to Daytona. Daytona just, I don't know what it is. Our cars are fast there. I don't know why. Then we go to Talladega and we're like, and then we just kind of
the crowd energy for the number for you. It's gonna rocket ship this year. I'm feeling it.
I love it.
Manifesting the energy. Beautiful.
Thank you.
All right. Well, guys, thanks so much again for tuning in, and we'll be back next week. Austin, have a day. Dale, go shave your face again. No. See you later.
Hey, we didn't even talk about the amazing AOL Jeff Green / Johnny Sauter shirt you have on right now.
Yeah, I DM'd you. So I DM'd you and was like, hey, man, like this is just like the most just wildest stuff. I was like, can you ask your grandpa if like y'all have like any AOL jackets like from like the early 2000s? I was like, just by chance, maybe. And obviously you're busy, whatever, you know, you've been doing a reality show and everything else. So I'm like, all right, fine. So I go on eBay and I see this Pitt shirt and I'm like, this might be the only thing, because you cannot find shit AOL online anywhere. So if for some reason or for some way you end up talking to Papa Richard and you go to the shop and there is a jacket, like an old race jacket like this, like holla at your boy, because like I am the king of AOL because my internet sucks. Like I have no fast internet where I live. It's terrible, dude, on the North Shore of New Orleans. So I had to get this, but yeah, also to the Jeff Green, low key Steve Park too. So
yeah, forget. I was at that inaugural day when they had the announcement, Steve Park AOL at the current RCR museum. I remember all that.
Dude, it's electric. But yeah, I feel like the only place I'd be able to find like anything else with it would probably be through you. So
all right,
just holler
see what
at
I can do.
All right,
I'm upset.
I'll send you.
I'm upset.
Skinner's great too. I love Mike Skinner.
But when do you see this?
Yeah, you're right.
Mike Skinner is a pickleball king, by the way. He's the one that told me about pickleball. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, I would not have expected that. Love that.
He lives at Pictona.
Pictona, dude, I can't wait for Pictona. We're doing something at Pictona. Mark it in your calendar. We're doing something there. We got to
do a charity pickleball tournament. Have garage guys there live for pickleball.
Let's do it. Love it.
I'm about to start training.
Okay.
All right. I'm fired up. All right. I got to go train pickleball. Y'all be good.
Bye.
See you, dude.
See ya.